with a good heart, and the little chats I had with him, them, I really started to like the guy. And then when I joined Cincino, he was one of the guys top of my list. I contacted him, and he was not open. Oil, Cincino, no thanks. But stay in touch. I generally care about people, right? So you follow up, you talk, and you generally care about how you're doing. And he has a lovely daughter, Logan, and how you doing? How's your daughter? How's life? And just checking in, because even if people work with us or not, I always want people the best. But he joined this industry 25 years ago, more than that even, and then he was out of the industry a couple of years. He will share his story, but then he's delivered tremendous results, and it's honored to work with him. And he's a huge asset to the team. And I have to say, he's probably number one guy in our team when it's come to always be supportive, on every call and everything. How he writes, how he adds value, contributes. He's amazing when it comes to that. So, and that's why also he's one of the nominees. Also, seen that when you see the partner of the year for 2019, 1Mondo partner of the year, that's going to be get the prize later. One of the nominees, and Sina was one of them that I talked about before. Dave is one of them. It's not a coincidence. And then Fabian, I think hear from later, is one of the nominees. So let's dive in to the next speaker, Mr. Diamond Dave Ives.
Thank you, Marco. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, Marco, thank you for the intro. And first of all, with the nominees for that award, thank you for obviously valuing that. And but I just want to send my prayers and love to Zinat for feeling unwell. I'm not competitive in any shape or form, but I believe you should be here to collect the prize. So she's not in the running. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I respect you. I honor you, and I totally look up to you, Zinat, of what you've done. And people need to hear your words as well as Marco sharing your story. But what a morning! What a morning! And I've got the opportunity to share with you, and I will give you a little bit of a recap of my story. 21 years young, living in Florida, dragged along to an Amway presentation. Got inspired by the story of the house painter and a Pizza Hut waitress, and many of you may know that story. And that gentleman followed up over 6 months later. Turns up, I'm in the Florida, and I'm back home, United Kingdom, and he turns up in my bar, pub, restaurant, call it what you want, one Saturday night after 6 months. So that's a follow up. And so you can't do it. You can't do it bad enough to keep people out who are looking. You can't be good enough to not get people in if they aren't looking. But what training that was this morning. And I learned so much from that, and I can't wait for the replay. But the message today from Kirsten kicking off the event, and Mr. Orion on the chair, Salah. I mean, we didn't see that today, but generally he gets on his chair to share his passion. But some of the things I'm going to be sharing with you is about goal setting. And one of the things I've learned in my 14-year career of building, but I had 20 years apart. So Marco said I've been around a long time. 6 years in my first company. I was 21 to about 27, just gone 27. And I then came out of the industry for whatever reason. That's another story. But it was now back when I was, I don't know, 44, 45. So, a good 17, 20 years, I was out of the industry. So when I got started again, I was a restaurateur. I was a chef, and those who've heard my story, I say a chef with a dream, because I still consider myself a chef. That's what I did for a career. But you know what? In my transition from 21 to 27 to 44, where I found myself as a single dad with a 1-year-old baby and a 16-year-old son. I got more children who I love and I cherish, but I had a 16-year-old son at home and a 1-year-old baby at home, working 18 hours a day, 7 days a week in my own restaurant that owned me. I decided to make the decision to get back in the industry, not because of making money, because I was broke. I was broke, even though I'd borrowed $250,000 from the bank, and I worked 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. I was broke. I looked like I was doing okay. I had 9 staff. I had a restaurant. I had 90 seat covers. I had marketing. I had advertising. but I was broke. I was first in, last out, but I paid my staff more than I was making, yet I had no lifestyle. So when I got involved with network marketing for the second time, I got in because of a product. But let me tell you, and I know many of people who will do this journey with us, that you'll come across. They may look like they're doing okay, maybe financially, they may even dress well, but we don't know what's on the inside. And so right now I'm writing a book or penning the start of a book, and it's called Broke, but Not Broken. See, I was broke in time when I was approached last time. I was broke financially when I was approached last time. But the two things that I was broke in, time and money, were the things that were keeping me busy, called a job. And yet the man who showed me this industry said, if things don't change, Dave, then you don't change. And for things to change, then you must change. And that's the journey. And so one of the things I'm going to talk about goal setting is not only goal setting on numbers about your business, but goal setting on your own personal growth. So I want to share my screen. And as I'm sharing my screen with you, I'm going to continue to share a little bit about my story. And so I embarked on that new career at 44 years young, and I got into the same company as Marco kindly said. And again, I admired him from afar. I wondered where this slick-looking upstart came from, because I'd been in the company for about a year, and he came along and took some stage time, and I'm thinking that this guy, where did he come from? And then he disappeared. And then he stayed on my radar. And then last year, when I was in a fork in the road, whether I was going to go corporate, I was in a position where I was open. I really didn't know if I was open to join, but I was at least open to listen. And Marco, because of that relationship, because of that bridge, he actually put me in a position where he prepared me long enough to get me in front of Orion. And he was smart enough to actually do a three-way call. And that was powerful, because I put in my comments here earlier on when Orion was on. Orion reminds me of my very first sponsor. I mention this guy every time because he's my brother, he's my best friend, he's godparents to my eldest daughter, Yasmin. Barry Joy was the man that got my mind and heart open to the possibility, just beyond making money, that if you made enough relationships and you cared enough about them, that then you could show them how to build a business. Sometimes we're always business, and we've got to be, because we're in business. But you want to be in business with people you care about, people that you can pour yourself into, people that don't just take, but they give back to you too. Not necessarily the results, but the respect, the time, everything else. But my goal today is to share a little bit about success and goal setting, because goal setting is paramount. But here's the thing. I want you to understand that goal setting, everything that you heard from Javier, everything that you heard from Orion, these numbers that are ahead of us all in our vehicle, is exciting. But you know, there's going to be people in Zinzino that will not be part of that growth because they don't understand personal growth. You'll never grow beyond economically what our mind can conceive. Our income level will never outgrow what our ability to relate to people. And so we've got to go on a journey of success. And that success journey is really based on daily disciplines, daily decisions. You're not going to go, sit here today in an annual 1Mondo event and go, this time next year, I'm going to be X. Well, that's a good goal. Maybe it's diamond, maybe it's director, maybe it's crown, royal crown, black crown, whatever it may be. We can all make the decision in the heat of the environment, in the excitement of the culture, but it's tomorrow that we have to take action. It's those daily 1% compound efforts that help us to progress. Yesterday, May the 8th, was my anniversary. May the 8th, 2019, I was sitting in Hilda's and Orion's home. I had Nicola Rude to the left. I had Marco Passanante to the right, and I had Hilda and Orion in front of me. And that's where we got to prick me. There was Marco, my sponsor, pricking me in the founder's home. And it was May the 8th yesterday. And in the comments I put a moment ago when Orion was on, was that a year ago was a time in history for me, my family tree. Though I've made six figures with a previous company, though I made six figures a year with my second company, and I've had a couple of companies that I just wasn't able to get going. But that time, May the 8th, 2019, will be a momentous time when my family tree will look back and say, that was a pivotal moment. That was a momentous moment. That was a moment when a man, Marco Passanante, persisted enough, cared enough, was consistent enough to stay in touch with me that changed my family. And a year later, they always say people underestimate what they can achieve in a year and overestimate what they can do in a week. And the reality is, it's a daily activity. So success is a very simple discipline, but it's of daily disciplines that we start to get good at. We practice at every day. And that's why I love Javier's training, because it does clearly show that those engaged with growth, those who turn up, those who show up, grow up. And I mean, when I don't mean grow up, I don't mean grow up in regards to the ability to grow up in age. I'm talking about maturity, be able to converse, communicate, relate, connect. That's so important. But that is a fine line. Our success of daily disciplines is a fine line, because we either get better practicing the things that make us uncomfortable, or we become comfortable because of the fear of practicing, and those errors are a poor judgment on our behalf, and we'll repeat those every day, and we'll wonder why, as Jim Rohn says, that the success is a fine line. Success is a few simple decisions practiced every day, while failure is a simple or a few errors in judgment repeated every day. So the truth is that our own development as potential leaders, our success in business and effectiveness as a parent, someone in our community, someone who wants to create something of significance, something that's noteworthy, it's not an event. It accumulates to an event when you get recognized maybe at the next 1Mondo event in 2021 in Vienna. That's going to be an event, but it's an accumulation of our daily activities that got us there. But I will tell you from previous experiences that when you stand on stage and be recognized to take the applause that you will deserve, it will feel like it happened overnight. But while you're going through it, it seems like a lifetime. The other thing is, have you ever hurt yourself? Have you ever been in a bad situation? Have you ever experienced something that you really made you feel uncomfortable, but sooner or later you were out of that period or past that period, and you're now experiencing some good in your life, and maybe your finances have improved, but that uncomfortable aspect, that sense of failure, that darkness, that place that you felt trapped is a distant memory. You just remember that you didn't like it. But the good times absolutely fade away the bad times. And guess what? To 2020, 1Mondo, we will come together and be celebrating many of your victories. And the way we're going to be able to do that is that we have to take action daily. And so what I'm going to go through with you is 5 areas, and I'm going to show you some detail, which is unlike me, some forms for us to look at, not to go too greatly in detail because I don't have that time today with you. But I want you to start thinking about some of these principles that you can take action right now. And so the first thing we have to understand is goal setting is about action. Goal setting is about measurable, attainable aspects. But then if goal setting worked, why aren't more people successful? And here's the reason. Because they haven't identified their big goal. All they're doing is looking at the work. You see, when I get up every morning, I don't look at the follow-ups. I don't look at the calls. I don't look at the admin. I don't look at the dealing with customer services. I don't look at a customer who may have got the wrong product that I have to serve. I don't look at that as an inconvenience. I look at that as the vehicle to get me to the big goal that I've identified that resonates with me. So what's your big goal? Because goals without something, your why, has got to be bigger than the how. Because there's so much how in 1Mondo that I've never seen. There's so much how in Zinzino than I've ever seen. So if the how was important, we'd be breaking more diamonds, we'd be breaking more directors, we'd be breaking more crowns. What we need to do is create a community that knows their why, because then we go to work. Because the work then moves into not just work, but a process. It's an activity that I must go through to get what's important to me. So setting a goal and planning our days, our weeks between now and April 2021 is going to be paramount. You see, most people will come out of a convention, they'll come out of an online presentation, they'll be inspired, fired up, but they'll take 3-4 days and they won't do nothing tomorrow. It starts as soon as we come off this event. I've got 2 Zoom meetings booked at 5:30 and 6:30 straight after this event. Why? I'm not going to sit back and go, well, that was a nice day. I feel really good and flowery fluffy. Because that's just a feeling. And that feeling's going to erode tomorrow because life's going to take over. And Marco's the best I've seen. And he always says, are you starting the month right? Have you got your first week lined up? So setting a goal and planning our daily activity and weekly is paramount. And then creating a system of accountability. And I'm going to go through that with you. That will help us all remind one another of our goal and hold us accountable. You know, Marco introduced me, and what did he say? He mentioned my daughter. Kirsten Pierce, a good friend, and Sam and their 2 boys mentioned Dave and Logie. But folks, this industry is about impacting families. Yes, we're going to make money, but if we're not beyond making money and making an impact, a significance, a difference, a change of the family tree of the people that we're sitting in front of, then people won't stay around for the money when they don't make the money fast enough. That's why people jump. That's why people hop, because they chase the money. What we got in 1Mondo is a huge community of people that care about one another, edify one another, and respect one another, that they're prepared to lock arms and now go to work with one another. And so by doing that, we are building the support of our friends in the business, our colleagues, our co-workers, our partners. But as you build your support, you also need the support of your relatives. We're here today online, of course, with one another, and I'm loving it. But I've got to share and communicate with my daughter why Daddy's doing it. When I need to travel a little and I call upon my sister and I call upon my eldest daughter, I've got them to understand that I'm not just going to work, I'm going to invest in the lives of others. So they may not be in the business with me, but they understand why I'm building the business. See, the support not only in the business is important, but you need the support of people around you. And sometimes that's not available immediately. Trust me. And the reason why it's not available initially, and Orion touched on this, is because they've seen you try before. They've seen you quit before. So they're waiting to see if you're serious this time. And when you identify your big goal, you understand that you're serious this time. And so it may take a month, it may take 2 months, it may take a few months, but you need to be consistent working daily towards those goals, that those people around you that are fence sitters, that are sitting in the stands, initially jeering you, laughing at you, poking at you, all of a sudden, as you move away from them because you start to get some traction working with those teams, their noise fades. Their noise disappears. And then some of them come and start tapping on your shoulder and asking you, will you show me what you're doing? Why? Not because you've become successful, not because you've made it, because what they want to know is, if I dare to hope one more time, and I dare to hope and pin my hope on you, will you be around for me? That's what really is going on. And Marco said this on a call with a couple of individuals we shared with yesterday, is that most people are scared to pin their hope one more time. So we have a responsibility. What is your big goal? Car, yes. Home, yes. Travel, yes. Is it to be someone who literally made a difference in the lives of others? Because once we have our goal, then we've got to establish a system so we can go through the processes, the invitations, the presentations, the follow-ups that are measurable so we can see the progress. And so I'm just going to touch on 12 things. I'm not going to have time to go in them specifically, but 12 things. One is, are we reading? We talked about personal growth. You know, the power of 1%. How many of you can get better? 1% a day. Just turning a page over, 1 page a day. How many of you could go to GoCore and listen to an audio, one 10, 15-minute section of an hour audio? Just improve 1% a day. Attend your online weekly customer presentations, your business presentations, even when you don't have anyone. Why? We're playing team. We're playing community because we learn ourselves. 2, we support other team members that have other people on, and we hope they're going to do the same when we have our prospects on. 1% a day. Are we doing something with our own health care, personal care, our nutrition? You can see here that these are things that work on us as a person, because there's a famous saying, if you build the man, they'll build the plan. Some of us want to show people how to build the business, and that's important, and that's why the fast start is really important. Turn those red donuts green. But I've never seen a more simpler marketing program to turn donuts from red to green and make several hundred euros in your first 60 days. Never seen it as simple as it is. But if the person doesn't believe, if they don't have the confidence, if they don't have the belief that you're going to support them through the process, then you've got to understand, not only are you there as a business counselor and guider, but you're also someone who can impact another one's personal growth and hold them accountable. Are they reviewing your goals every day? Do you wake up with spring in your step? Do you get to the end of the day saying, I did everything I could have done this day? Or did you get to bed at night going, oh, I didn't even get round to it because I was too busy? Now we know why we don't progress, because we've confused being busy and avoidance to doing things that will help us to accomplish. So we learn what we need to do. And then we start taking action and start doing what we're learning. Are we on our own auto order? Are we our best customer? Now, are we adding new connections a day? Now, this is a whole training that Marco's permission is. I will do a whole recording on this and make it available through the 1Mondo. I just want to give you an idea that success is not an event. It's a daily discipline. Over time compounded, that 1% improvement over 365 days, you can go from 0 to crown. You can go from 0 to any rank you want to in 12 months. But it starts with daily disciplines. Are we adding connections? Are we disciplining ourselves to follow up in time? Are we willing to learn to start showing the plan, to present ourselves to our customers and our potential partners? And then are we following up appropriately? And are we setting goals to be able to achieve to do that? So this really is about each day we can track ourselves. And then the accountability is taking it to someone that you sit with and that you are working with, and they can hold you accountable. Not to be a boss, but to be a cheerleader, to be someone who can maybe see things from a different perspective, so they can enable you maybe to tweak you for the next 30 days. So over 12 months, you've been tweaked 12 times, but the daily disciplines get better, you get sharper, you get slicker, you get full of confidence, you have fruit on the tree, and all of a sudden you'll look back a year from now, improving 1% a day, 1 page a day and read it, 15 minutes of audio, turning up online, or when we're able to travel again to be together, you start realize the association is actually more important than anything else. To be around Marco and Filippo and the other leaders and your up-and-coming leaders in your organizations, to sit and break bread and drink wine afterwards, as Orion talked about with Antonio, and sitting about drinking that wine and in Rome, which I remember vividly, not with Orion, but Marco did that for us back in the last year. I know that very cellar where those gents were drinking that wine. That's a vivid memory of mine. Thank you, Marco Passanante. So association is important. So create a tracker for you, so you learn how to build you. And then at the beginning of every month, Set your business plans, your goal, your action plan. The first thing to do about an action plan about the coming month is we've got to learn how to review our previous activity. Did we achieve what we wanted? Were we close? Had we moved from where we were to where we wanted to be, but didn't quite make it? And that's when you've got an accountability partner, someone in your support team that will sit with you, that you will listen to their advice because you respect their words, not necessarily their position. So that accountability partner doesn't need to always be a rank, because there's people in network marketing that will hit a rank of leadership but don't know how to lead. They just caught up in momentum. They were gifted. They were positioned. They weren't somebody who actually built it. So you want to make sure when you counsel with people, you're counseling with the right people who can guide you and tweak you and push you forward this coming month. Do you know how your ECB and your RCB is calculated? Because if we just start another calendar month or a weekly cycle, and you're going to hear some great training on this, on a weekly cycle, if you don't know that we're operating Wednesday to Wednesday, and you don't know what ECB you have, enrollment credit bonuses, RCB are residual credit bonuses that come from ongoing customer repetitive orders and our partners auto orders, then you may want to hit a rank, but if you don't know what volume we have that's going to be banked and carried over, then we don't know what we need to go create to top it up. And so knowing the amount of people that are in your organization that are on auto ships, what volume you've been paid on the previous month, what volume has been carried over, gives you a starting benchmark to work on. So these are the things that you want to make sure if you're going to rank up in a particular month, i.e. in the month of June. We've got May to finish off, of course, and hopefully you've already done this. But if you're going to rank up in June from the rank that you hit in May, then in the first 24 hours, you want to have done this with that individual. You may even want to do this the day before as you're closing out the month. You see, when we close out the week and we close out the month, it's a crazy time. But when you're progressive, when you're seeing growth, when you're seeing volume, when you're seeing new people on your team achieve 100, 200, 500, when you get messages from people on your team saying, I've made, the last 2-3 weeks, I've made €1,000 a week, and they're thanking you. All of a sudden, you know that it's not just the business that inspires you, but it's know that you're playing. Now, these people will always have to do the work, but you played a part. You designed a plan with them. You held them accountable. You were there for them. You led them. See, a lot of people in Zinzino, a lot of people in network marketing, a lot of people in 1Mondo will be around for the community, will be around for the association. But if you really want to build a lifestyle within this organization, then we've got to have specific business goals that we put a timeline on, and then we strategize with people who know how to get us there. So you've got to have personal goals. What are you going to do this month? How many customers are you going to potentially talk to? How many new partners are you going to bring on? Then find out you can't rank unless you help other people rank. So what's the team goal? Who wants to move on? You know, as Mark always says, ask for their permission. Find out who has a go. If people are happy making what they're making, or people are happy where they are, love them, plug them in, support them, let them know, but go find those who want to rank up. Sometimes they may be 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 levels down below those who are happy where they are. Well, that's called taprooting. So, you know, it's your business. You're in business with others, but your team is your business. So I always tell people, respect other people's businesses, love on everybody, but don't ask for their permission to go down underneath them to help them make money. It's ironic, right? So don't let anyone be a barrier. Find somebody who wants to work, then go to work with them. And plan your meetings. Plan your diary. Do you know how many meetings There's the last 3 weeks, I'm not going to tell you how many I've done, but I'm telling Marco that I'm on to double-digit Zooms daily. Daily. And you know what? I've never been more fired up. Why? Because I always talk from the very day I heard my mentor say this, the power of one. You don't know what that next call could lead you to. You don't know who that next individual, that next couple, you don't know what is going through their lives, what they're looking for. You could be the one to them, they could be the one to you. But unless you've got a diary planned of meetings, you don't know who that is. And sometimes the one, the couple, the team is generally from someone you don't know that gets you on a three-way call. And that, guess what? They get you in front of someone else. And that person who was a door opener no longer is around in the business, but they led you to the next couple that go crown. So plan your meetings. How many are you going to do? And understand, as you build your business on a monthly basis, and these two forms that I'm sharing with you, you could spend an hour on each. But I just want to make you aware that they're available to you. I want you to ask yourself, have I been doing that? Have I started every month, every week with direction, with purpose, with a clear vision, with a goal? Or have I just got caught up on, there's a 1Mondo team training on Monday, I'll turn up. Oh, there's a customer presentation on Tuesday, I'll turn up. Oh, there's a getting started training on Saturday morning, I'll turn up. Whatever it may be. Because turning up doesn't mean we're engaged. It means we're turning up. Turning up is different to showing up. Showing up means we're ready to go. And being ready to go is knowing what campaigns are available to you every month. And we've still got a strong campaign running right now. For those who go fast gold, fast silver, that ends by the 31st of May for those who are running. But that means that on the 31st of May, you could sponsor me on the 30th and still have 2 months for those fast start bonuses. So know your campaigns, know your personal targets, and then be accountable. And then work with someone who has an invested interest in seeing your growth and your victories. Marco Passanante, I'm indebted to you. Thank you for everything you do for the 1Mondo family. And I know the year we've had has been exciting, but the year ahead is not going to be recognizable when we're standing together with everybody, with several thousand in just 1Mondo in Vienna, April 21.